Call to order. All right, so I guess, can we not even approve the minutes from the previous meeting?
I don't think so.
I don't think
I
so.
would need to vote, I think.
All right. Well, in the event, I just forwarded an email to you guys, from Justin Schreier. I don't know if you had a chance to see it.
No, I haven't.
Basically, here, let me pull it up so I can just summarize.
You just sent us a message, you said?
I just sent it, yeah, so basically, it's the zoning bylaw committee is hosting 3 public forums. And so I can't remember this. They're gonna be held at Wilcott Commons, and there's a schedule there. There's one for the Cohasset Harbor, one for the village, another one for the housing, MBTA multifamily compliance, and then climate and resiliency. So over the next couple of months,
Okay,
probably be worth, I'm gonna definitely try to attend at least a couple
I'll
of
try
them.
to attend for sure.
So,
I know I'd heard about this. There was one in November.
yes, November is the housing.
November 17th.
Oh, no,
I'm
December
definitely
seems more interesting, I guess.
Super
Well, at
interested
least
in
to
that
me.
one, for sure.
I guess it was December.
December's climate resiliency, that's December 5th.
But the MBTA one might be of interest to us because isn't that
Absolutely.
where they were going to put in like,
Like 750 units.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, so that would affect the walking trails.
Yeah,
So that might be worth
definitely.
probably
All
attending.
right, I'll try to attend all. I feel like the harbor too is definitely
Yeah,
space. I feel like that affects,
Mhm.
and I live in the village or I live close to the village, so.
Yeah, it doesn't, I have to say, there's been a lot of conversation to me about how Cohasset has just, it doesn't look like it's moving.
Yeah,
You know, like compared to Situate, and it's just not as, I don't know, what's the right
Robust.
word? What did you say?
robust or like,
Yes, like robust, like businesses and things to do. And I guess I started to look around. I'm like, I kind of see it now. So,
someone brought up on 143 just like the fact that there's like weeds growing out of everywhere. I'm like, oh, there actually are a lot, like downtown. There's like, it doesn't look like it's been maintained. Like all the trees that fell over were cut down, but nothing's been put in their
Right.
place, and it looks kind of overgrown. And I was picking up trash on Saturday with the boys, and it was, I don't know, pretty gnarly in certain areas.
I agree. Like with the trash, just because I was doing the social on the
Yeah.
cleanup day. Maybe we're missing Sarah, but
Yes,
and
miss
her
Sarah.
family. But it does seem like there's more trash out there, or just people are not doing their part.
Yeah,
yeah, we cleaned up my street and we had just done it on Earth Day and we filled up another bag of trash,
yeah,
combing the same exact area. So it's kind of frustrating that people are just still dumping it
yeah, I agree.
a few months.
So if we could add to the harbor conversation and just add, I guess, maybe some kind of walking paths, or make sure that we include some recreation activities in there. I think that would be good, just to make sure that we don't overlook anything. But speaking of National Cleanup Day, so we did post on social media, we did post on Facebook and Instagram, and I know that Justin from the communications department, he created that icon, so we
Yep.
put that
Yeah.
out a lot. And then he posted it in a couple different places. He posted it in the town, like the town email that goes out, and then and then some other people reposted it, but I didn't get a lot of like hashtags from other people that participated, except from us. So I don't know how great it was. But I know we worked really hard to get out there. Like we did everything that we could.
Yeah. Hey, Connie.
Hi, Connie.
Hey, Connie.
Sorry
Hi.
to be late.
No worries.
We're talking about the Earth Day or the the Cohasset cleanup.
Yes, exactly. So I shared it with my church, my
Oh, good.
congregational church, and
That's great.
a couple of days in advance, and people appreciated it, I think.
But I'm sure that people did do it. They just didn't do the social media aspect of it, and that's okay.
Right.
Just as long as people were aware that it was cleanup day, and maybe they did pick up their community, and like Jean Healy DePold's family, they did the
Mhm.
weeds, they did weeding on the street. To your point, Deidre, that there's
Yeah.
just a lot of weeds, and they picked up some. And I thought that was great.
That is great.
So just as long as the effort was made and we can track it, that we did that effort.
Yeah.
No, I didn't post it. I sent a picture to my wife and asked her to post it, but she hasn't done it yet, so I'm not very active on Instagram.
If you just send it to me, I'll repost it for you. You don't even have
Okay.
to. You don't
I do
have
have an Instagram account, I just never use it, so.
Yeah, I don't think everyone. It's okay if I think it's just good that we did clean up a bit.
Yeah, raise
The
some
trash is
awareness.
piling
Yeah.
up a little bit more.
Maybe we can even post another message saying it's not too late, if you want to get back out,
Yeah.
able to make it.
Oh, okay. I
We
can do
could
that.
make it like a monthly thing, like, I don't know, the third Saturday in the month, just you think of it,
Mhm.
trash walk or a weed walk or,
Yeah, I almost wonder too, like, you know how the beach has the fill buckets?
yeah,
Like, I wonder if we can get more of those around town, like thinking about all the different fields, right? If parents are just standing there, like watching their kids play on a Saturday, like it's hard to remember to like bring your trash bag to the game.
Yeah,
But if the
true.
buckets were there, would more
Yeah.
people just kind of like pick up the fields as they're watching
Mhm.
sports or whatever? I think those buckets are really useful.
yeah,
And maybe we can even try to make it like a high school project or something. Like it's a pretty easy, or a Boy Scout project, pretty easy to, put the pole together and buy
Yeah.
a couple buckets. I don't know if we have
Totally.
to ask permission from anyone, but it might help remind people.
yeah,
And maybe we can even put like a town hashtag or something on there
Yeah.
to kind of get more people doing it on a regular basis.
that's a good idea.
But what if we looked up more of because someone posted last year on Earth Day for us for cleanup day, there was something in South Carolina of some more professional looking pole, and it had it had a sign, like the town had made a sign, like use these trash cans to clean up. Like if we had it more formalized, maybe people would pay attention to it. I'll find that picture.
I kind of think the town should have recycling bins too. I feel like there's not a lot of recycling bins around.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I just don't know what the cost would be and, how well utilized they would be. I don't know how much it's worth our effort if it's just going to be people throwing trash in there and having to
Mhm.
separate it all out. But,
Mhm.
I think they were taken away for COVID.
okay. So there were recycling bins?
I don't know. It just seems like there's not a lot of trash cans anywhere
Well, yeah.
in general.
Mm.
Well, there's a lack of trash cans.
Who is the DPW responsible for that? You know,
I'm assuming, Adam, but I honestly
maybe they contract that out to Graham or something like that. I don't know.
Something
I
we
think
could
I'll
ask
look
the
into that.
senior about.
Oh, yeah, I'll reach out to DPW and see what they say.
One campaign that maybe we could work on is, so many people walk in Cohasset. I'm on South Main Street, so I see on the sidewalks people walking. And, if people thought to just, when they walked, bring a little bag with them, like how people have to have their dog poop bags.
Mhm.
Another little bag, it makes it so easy. And I've known there's a couple of folks in Cohasset that do this.
Mhm.
But it makes it so easy to just, lean over and pick up a styrofoam coffee cup or, plastic water bottle. If you've got a little something with you, you can put it in.
Mhm.
you know, if we were going to do a little campaign about that, maybe that's something we could mention.
Like,
Yeah,
right,
okay.
like walk and take a bag or,
Yeah, even if you just have, you know, it's almost like a glorified poop bag or, you know, sort of a, probably plastic or some sort of bag that's really small. It can actually be in your pocket. But if you walk by some trash, you know, you can pull it out, you can put it in. I mean, we noticed that we walked Nantasket Beach a lot, the far beach. And, you know, if you've got something with you that you could lean over and pick up and put something in, maybe it's a mile or two before you get back to the trash can. But just a thought, if we're doing like a campaign on effective ways to utilize your everyday walk by picking up trash.
Yeah.
I can look into that and look into like what other areas have done, like if there's any campaigns, so we don't have to recreate the wheel on that.
Mhm.
Right, right.
Oh, this was the picture. I have to find the full pic. Well, you won't see it, but this she tagged us.
Oh,
She did Cohasset Earth Day last year, and it was a sign in Hilton Head that had, it was a signpost. Sorry, but it actually had or Hilton Head had made a professional sign that drew people's attention to. It was like the just one bag, but it was
Yeah.
Can you email that around?
Yeah, let me find the original picture.
Okay.
Because I cropped it when
Oh,
I
okay.
posted it. But there was a signpost
like
about it.
really good marketing for cleaning up.
Yeah, it was Sarah Chimney Davis posted it.
Oh, Sarah
I'm gonna find
Davis.
it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I'll go find it. It was really good sign though, I remember. And I thought we should use that.
Yeah.
I'll find it.
Peter mentioned he has a bunch of leftover tote bags from Earth Day. I'm not sure if that could be distributed and used to pick up trash. I'm not sure if that's the ideal use of those bags. They may not get multiple uses, but just a thought.
It's not a bad idea. I mean, they're just,
Unless, yeah, I don't know if they have 2022 on there, or if we can save them and distribute them next year or if they.
Oh, I have a picture of those too. Let me find that. But
Yeah.
maybe we could do something with that. Oh, they have 2022. They say Earth Day 2022 on it. I mean, maybe we do a program or something that we encourage people to do that. No.
Maybe in the future, we don't put a day, we don't put a day
Yeah,
in the bags.
yeah.
Right.
point.
It does limit the use.
yeah.
Yeah.
that's a good point.
Yeah. Yeah.
So since Connie joined and we now have a quorum, do you want to go ahead and approve the minutes from the June meeting? Did everyone have a chance to take a look?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Any edits or any
Nope,
comments?
looks good to me.
I think they look great.
They were very well done.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank
Thanks.
Always.
I'll go ahead and make a
Thanks,
motion
guys.
to approve the minutes.
I second.
All right, all those in favor?
I
Okay.
Aye, unanimous.
a question. So, like, if we come up with ideas, is it okay to email around to talk to each other on that, or is it best just to?
I don't know what the
keep-
rules are on that because are you allowed to,
I don't think we are.
We're
But
not allowed-
it seems so fast and more efficient when we.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
to wait a whole month to have a conversation and then, yeah.
Right. I don't think we're allowed to, but
Can we text?
what?
Can we text?
I feel like we could speed up everything in this. You know, we could speed up stuff if we could do that.
I mean, we definitely had conversations over email in
Right.
intra-meeting, and even when Peter was chair, that happened. Maybe we just can't, do anything official, like approve anything official. Or,
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
I'm not exactly sure the rules. I'll try to get clarification on that. But it seems like certainly we should be allowed to communicate. And like you said, it's much more efficient if we can
Yeah, just,
move things along intra-meeting.
Right. I guess I'm not clear. I feel like we can't, but I want to.
I'll get clarification on the rules and let
Okay.
everyone know.
Thank you.
Thanks, Adam.
Sure. Okay, what else? Dee, did you want to talk about the grant application
Grants?
for the
Yeah, sure.
Land Conservation Trust?
Yeah, I sent it around a while ago. I'm not sure if everyone had a chance to look over
Yeah.
what it, sort of the main points. Basically, it's the Hingham Land Conservation Trust. The purpose of the grant is to fund research projects that will assist in conservation of local open spaces and improve access to or encourage area residents to enjoy and respect the importance of parklands and conservation areas. Basically includes the towns of Hingham, Cohasset, Hull, Norwell, Rockland, and Weymouth. It's an annual grant, so I'm assuming it's going to be available every year. Dispersable up to $5,000 per award. So I think that's all they have per year. And they only give it to one project. The deadline is October 21st, which is kind of tight, but I looked at the application. It's like 2 pages. It doesn't look like it's super tricky to fill out. So if
Yep.
we think of something that we want to pursue, I could certainly fill it out and see if, what happens. The projects are typically like mapping projects of like, natural resources. I know we had talked about mapping of wheelwright. I don't know how far we got with that. I know there's other areas that need to be mapped still, so maybe that could be one. I just don't know the cost. There's a pollinator related one Marissa talked about and mentioned maybe we could focus on a pollinator garden somewhere, which I think is a really fun idea. Get some kids involved, or get some Boy Scouts or local families. That would be kind of a cool one. Conservation areas. There's some areas in town that aren't really well accessible, but I feel like that might be a bigger, more expensive one, honestly. I can build like, ADA access, disability, like initiative ramps, or I think that might be a bigger one. With the tree removal or tree health, we could try to make that fit in somehow. I know we have a lot of trees that have been removed in town and
Mhm.
haven't been replaced. Fit into their in the box. I don't know. I'm happy or any other.
Yeah, they're all great ideas. So Dee, is it the case that the $5,000 has to be dedicated toward one project? You couldn't split it up among multiple projects?
I think they only make one award a year.
One award, but you can use the 5,000 for, like, the state geomapping costs 3,000, you could use another 2,000 to plant trees.
Huh. I can email
Okay,
the contact. I can find out if that's an option.
okay,
It's the award part of a project. They would do the
yeah,
if you don't need the full 5,000.
gotcha.
Two, but I can find that out.
Just to tag on to the question about mapping,
Mhm.
we did have way back we had a Cohasset DPW field engineer named Jason Federico, and
Yes.
his project was to create a GIS map of the town trails. So he left Cohasset and he's now in Norwell.
Okay.
And I've been trying to chase down through multiple channels like what happened to this project, because I know we all want this mapping. It would be great for our walking trails.
Yeah.
But I did ask like the Boy Scouts, they didn't know anything about it, and I thought they were involved in it.
I think Katie Holden was really involved in it too. Do you talk to her at all? Katie Holden.
Okay. Oh,
She was on Open Space.
I ended up getting in touch with Chris Senior.
Okay.
Who said that Jason's actually working in Norwell and he's doing it on his own time. And he's still working on the project. So I wrote back to Chris Senior and asked him, like, can I get in touch with this Jason Federico?
Yeah.
See how far he's come along with it and what's the time frame. And then I asked Chris Senior, would it be worth us to find outside funding or get a grant or fund this, or maybe even find someone else to do it? But he hasn't responded back to me yet. So I feel like that project's kind of I'm not
from
really
there.
sure. I can't get a good read. I can't get a read on where or how accomplished this
Let
is.
me ask Katie, because I feel like Katie actually talked with him a lot.
Right.
A
Okay.
couple years ago, and I know she was involved in helping him, I believe.
Hmm.
So she might have a better sense of where it, kind of how it ended and where it stands.
Okay. That'd be
I
good.
don't know that she's gonna know much, but I can try.
Right.
Because you have,
Maybe that would be good for this
yeah,
grant.
especially if it's partially done, if we just need a certain amount to finish work that's already been started.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
And I do like the tree idea. Like if we could get a grant to replace, we could write it well, but replace all the like um like 300-year-old trees that fell out of the town common that made it
yeah, that would be
green.
beautiful one on the corner, like right by the common. It makes me so
Right.
sad.
But to get some sizable trees, I
Yeah,
suppose that
that's,
would be the request, not just small diameter trees, but
and I
sizable.
think it would also be paying for them to be replaced. I think it's not just the trees itself, but actually the labor that goes into like removing the stumps and putting them in, because I think that's
Oh, okay. Yeah,
significant.
that might be it. But I wonder if that's attractive enough for us for that.
I wonder.
But
Yeah,
I
I
was also
wonder if you
thinking,
could, oh,
oh,
go ahead.
just one last one. Just going back to our other conversation about recycling and the just one bag. Maybe it's worth creating a, um, like when those just one bags posts around town and creating a system like so that
That's a
people
great idea
do
too.
collect. So that
Yeah,
I'm just trying to think of what's the most appealing thing that would appeal to this grant person.
yeah, I agree. I don't
Hmm.
have much. I can certainly reach out to the contact person I have and see if she can give us some, tips on like what might be the best, well-received project.
Hmm.
Or maybe you could submit a couple and see if one of them gets picked up.
Oh yeah, maybe we could do that. Or maybe do two.
Yeah,
Maybe submit two
Mhm.
requests.
yeah, and just see what happens.
So is that when is it due by?
October 21st.
So in 1 month.
Yeah, so I can reach out to Katie and see if she can help us find Jason and sort of status of that.
Well, why don't I'll reach out to Katie. How about
Okay,
I'll reach out to Katie and you reach out to the grant person. I'll just keep on this track of what I know.
sure. Perfect.
That's right. I didn't even think of Katie.
Does anyone else have any other suggestions? I feel like we could go in so many different ways. On just grant ideas.
I think those are all great ideas. I think I told you Charlotte Pepto had also
Yeah.
emailed me about the same grant. You know her?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, she's probably worth talking to with some.
Yeah, I can ask her if she can
Yeah.
kind of help us sort of streamline things, because time is limited and we don't want to waste.
If the mapping doesn't go anywhere with Christina, maybe we could, because I know in Wampatuck, they have the maps right there where you can scan a QR code,
Mhm.
pull it right up on your phone. So
Because that's trustees, right?
what's that?
By
Probably, yeah.
trustees, right? Or no?
Yeah, so maybe we can contact them to see if they have a contact information. Someone.
Okay.
Oh, for mapping, you mean?
Yeah,
someone
for
that does
mapping. Yeah,
I think Wampatuck is DCR, right? Like state. I don't know if the trustees have done any.
Mapping.
I
Okay.
don't know. I don't know if any of the trustee properties are mapped, but we could ask them, I guess.
I don't
or
know.
like World's End or something. you mean?
Yeah.
Or Whitney.
I
Wood.
mean, minimally though, maybe if someone could get in touch with Jason to even understand what is involved, even if he over the last 3 years hasn't actually done the project, maybe if he could at least give us an idea of what it would take to do it
Yeah.
from a financial standpoint, that at least would give us probably at least enough detail to write up a grant. I think that's probably going to be the hardest part, right? Is making sure that we have enough detail to know how we're going to spend the funds.
Yep, how much money we would need, how long it would take, all of, all of that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Maybe I can Google or call this town of Norwell to track it down that way.
Bring out your private investigator.
Well,
I'll
question,
do that.
what,
I'll call the town of Norwell, see if I can find him. I'll do that this week.
right.
Um,
What was Jason Federico's position when he was in Cohasset?
he was a DPW field engineer.
Okay, because the name is definitely familiar.
Yes, he was in his job for a few years.
Yeah.
Um,
Field engineer. Okay.
But Chris Senior apparently is in touch with him, so that's why I thought he would give me the contact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One other thing, Dee, if I could ask, please, if you wouldn't mind at least resending the information about that to me.
Sure.
Oh, I saw it when it came in and I remember looking at it and then I was going back trying to find it for,
Things get buried. I totally get it. Yeah, I'll send it tonight. Yep,
thank you, thank you.
of course.
So if we do the mapping as one idea for the grant,
Yeah, would be maybe a secondary.
what would be our secondary?
I like the idea of the tree one,
Mhm.
and I have no context for how much tree planting costs, but if there was a way to also roll in some of the tree inventory funding. I know Chris had mentioned he was gonna do a little research on some of the software systems that potentially could be purchased by the town to be able to actually start a tree inventory.
Oh, right, I remember that.
Maybe I'll
I think-
email him.
Yeah, I mean, I think that could be a really nice way of the goal of the grant for conservation. Like if, as these storms get more aggressive and as it continues to destroy the native flora, this is a way that we would like to try to mitigate that.
Yeah. All right. Like I can reach out to him and see if he has any, if they've made any inroads in terms of what system they're using or if they have any system in place at all, what it would maybe cost and if the grant could be fund part or all of it. And the
Well, I
town.
know that planting a tree, because I bought a few trees this year and like 1 to 2 diameters, which is really not very big at all, is probably like $300. So the larger the tree,
Yeah.
so I mean, I think we're thinking at least like at least 2 to 3,000 at least.
At least, and then it's like getting up
Yeah.
against some.
Mhm.
If
It
was-
is theoretically the town's responsibility to replace those, right? If it's on town property, we just have to stay on top of them.
I think the problem is they only have a set budget for that, and so the budget doesn't
Okay.
have anything to do with what the need is. They're just given I think it's like 50, it's something 50,000. It's not a ton for the whole town.
Oh, I
Okay.
thought,
I
I
think
thought
that
there
includes-
was nothing written that said that they had a tree replacement program. Like,
I think it's in their whole, I can't remember now, but I think they have a whole budget that includes like pruning of trees on power lines and if
Mhm.
limbs come down, it's all kind of tied into one budget.
mhm.
Is this part of the Tree City?
I think it's the town's own
Okay.
rules.
Because I remember we reviewed a bylaw tree policy a while
Yeah.
ago with Peter,
I don't think there
Mhm.
was money tied to it though.
but I don't recall that even ever getting approved. I think he was like continuing to still chase down the select board on that,
I
if
think
I'm
they
remembering
made it a bylaw,
correctly.
they made it a policy, right? So a bylaw had like teeth. I think they made it just a policy.
I think he did get it passed, but we should take a look
Okay.
at that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go find the tree policy.
Would Chris Senior
Mhm.
be the contact person for this too?
I think
can
it's the
send an email.
arborist, the town arborist.
Oh, so I know him. He was out on a medical leave a little bit ago, but I can, Andy, yeah,
Andy?
Andrew Swanson.
Andy?
I can,
No.
Andrew Swanson, yeah, I can actually
Yes.
text him. I'll do it right now.
And the town probably has, affordable ways to find a good deal on the trees, but we should always remember too that Chris Kennedy, who
Yes.
Kennedy's lives in Cohasset. And
He's great, yeah.
yeah, he did great work in front of Deer Hill, and he might be interested in partnering with us. It's an idea.
That's true.
Theoretically, I think the town should be able to get it, through another sort of venue, probably quite a bit less expensive.
Yeah,
It looks like Peter was creating a tree. Well, we did the tree management policy,
Mhm.
and I don't have the most latest one. I have an email from 2020.
I think I've got the updated one here that I can forward around. Town of Cohasset Public Tree Policy revised February 2022.
okay.
Let me see.
Mhm.
I think he wanted that passed before he left. So,
Might have had something to do with the Elm Street corridor as well, because remember, their initial plans didn't show very many trees. And he got back to them and said, where are all the trees on Elm Street?
Mhm.
right.
All the elms on Elm Street.
Right.
I have an edited document from 2020. I don't know if this is the official one though.
I just emailed it around. I don't know if you guys got it yet. I think I recall us having reviewed that
Right.
document before and approved it.
I think he had the selectmen approve it.
Yeah.
That's good. I think it's a policy, not a bylaw though, right? I remember that was like a big
Oh,
thing
yeah.
for him.
That what?
If it's a policy,
Oh,
I don't
Right,
think it
it
has the
is a
same
policy.
cloud as if it's a bylaw. Like, I don't know if there's funding attached to it. You know what I mean? I can find it from, I can ask Peter, like the sort of, how close do we have to abide by this? Because I feel like what typically I hear happens is
oh,
the town's out of budget.
I think you're
before
right.
they Can even get to this level.
I think you're right, Adam. This must be the right one.
Yeah, there's a section on restoration.
Stump removal. Yeah, because the tree bank was supposed to fund it, right?
Yeah.
So they established it. But how is it being funded? And how much is in there? And how much more do they need?
That's a huge question. Who's funding the tree bank? I think that's
Yeah.
to me, it's unclear.
Yeah, it says there's a town of Cohasset tree bank which shall be held by the town treasurer and account administered by the Department of Public Works.
Maybe we should find that out.
Yeah,
We
how
should
much
ask the
money?
town treasurer about the tree bank and like how much is in there.
So Angie Swanson is still the town arborist.
Okay.
So I can ask him a bunch of questions.
Okay. Do you want me to contact the town treasurer? I'm not sure who that is, but I can.
I can find that out. I can find that out.
Okay, let's see, what the agenda. Marianne, did you want to talk about the Black Earth Compost Service? I know someone had reached out to you to see if that could be restored.
Yes.
Yeah, we
So
should discuss it, I guess, right?
I'm so someone I wish I had more information, but someone did contact us through the open space social media pages, and I cannot find the post. I cannot find it for the life of me. But she wanted the town to reinvest, to restart residential curbside pickups of Black Earth compost, which is compost pickups and return food scraps and organic material to the you participate in compost pickups and return food scraps and other organic material to the soil to be reused. And she wanted us to talk about, is this something that we want to encourage, that people, it's basically a compost, it's a trash can that you roll out to the end of your driveway, and at 6 and if you have this account, they pick up your composting, and then they return it to you later on with fresh earth.
I think it's a great idea. I love it.
It's an environmental angle.
Yeah.
And there's a website for it, which I can send it to you. But she wanted to see if we were interested in kind of championing it. And
Is there a municipal option too, or just?
I guess Cohasset used to have it.
I would love to
And,
get
and
this.
now it was ended. What I do remember from her email or her post was that Cohasset used to have it, and then there weren't enough participants anymore in this town, so they canceled it for Cohasset.
Okay.
She wanted us to get involved again in that. And I didn't know if that was appropriate for us or not, so I just put it on the agenda just to.
Yeah, I think it's appropriate.
And I did want to invite the woman to. Again, I couldn't find her information, so I'm sorry.
I think it's tricky because it's not sponsored by the town, right? It's a private organization that does, pickups for,
like a trash-
same as someone would buy like trash pickup service, right? It's a similar type of thing that's not sponsored by the town.
Mhm.
I remember us trying to get them in for
Yeah.
EcoFest last year, and and they had said the same thing, like, because they don't service us anymore, there was no value in them coming.
Yeah, we tried to do it for the school when we tried to do the composting thing with Sarah as well.
Yeah.
Tricky.
Right. I mean, I think what would be better is to actually get town composting service, right? Like, I think that is something that, at least from my perspective, fits more into what our GARD is, because it would be sponsored by the town and a service that the town offers. And more municipalities are starting to do composting, so could Cohasset be one of the first South Shore communities to do that? But I don't know what kind of lift that is from DPW, considering they said they don't want any composting, never mind the idea of food and, all that, and more of an industrial type composting system.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I didn't know how it fit. I mean, I saw it from an environmental perspective, but I didn't really see it into like a recreation of our assignment here.
Yeah, I wonder if any towns that they work with, like, do any towns subsidize their service to try to incentivize more citizens in taking advantage of it?
I don't know. I don't know that much about it. But I guess it would be to encourage more gardening, I think, or I guess it could be used for those pollinator gardens if you wanted to create one.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be part of that. I'm not sure if it fits into our mission though.
I would say in a suburban environment like ours, where we can all compost, almost all of us, unless we're in a condo, you can compost very easily. So if you think about the environmental aspect of trucks coming to have to pick it up, take it away, somebody coming back to deliver it, from an environmental perspective, it doesn't seem to me very efficient. As opposed to perhaps asking Holly Hill Farm to do a gratuitous town-wide lecture on composting, which they do a lot of,
Yeah, they're good. I know they won't take a lot of compost though, because they're very particular about what goes in their compost because they are organic and they can't,
Right.
So,
But my point being, if somebody wants to receive that black dirt back, again, wants to have the effects of the compost, they
Yeah.
can learn how to do it
Yeah.
and avoid, having a truck come pick it up and take it away and bring it back. That's my thought.
no, I agree with that. I mean, we are in a suburban environment. Most people have yards here. We're not in a city environment where it requires composting, that you can't have the access to do that.
I just feel like some people are
I-
intimidated by the whole process.
Right. A neighbor gave me one of those black cans.
Mhm.
You put like stuff from my garden into it. And this year was the first year I actually found dirt at the bottom of it. And I don't know
Yeah.
if it was pure dirt, but I did try it. It worked. So it does work. So maybe, I guess I would say no then to this suggestion for us, and continue to focus on our mission
Mm,
of other things.
mm.
I don't know. I still I still find there to be value in having a town run composting system. Like when I think about your point, Connie, of everyone can compost, and I totally agree with that. I have my own compost as well, but I think the idea of industrial composting, which is what Black Earth offers, is something that we can't do ourselves, right? So if you truly wanted to mitigate a lot of the waste that you're generating, a lot of those like compostable silverware and plastics and all those things that like you actually can't compost in your backyard, those types of services will take them and be able to break them down. And so like, is there a way for the town to be able to offer a similar service, so that we're not having to maybe go pay for it somewhere else?
I wish I could say I believe the town would be able to do that, but I feel like whenever I
I
go
know.
to DPW, I feel like it's just so
I know.
like poorly. It's just not. I think that's beyond their ability at this time, unless they hired a bunch of new, like outside the box thinking people that really want to get this off the ground and make it market it and make it more large scale for so many of us. I don't know that I see the town doing that. But we can promote it. We can try.
Marissa, you said that they recycle like plastics as well.
Like they'll take, I guess it's not really plastic, but it's these sort of plastic looking containers that you get that are quote unquote compostable.
But only in
Like you'll get them at Sandy Beach. You get like a cup with your iced tea or smoothie. It says compostable, but it actually won't break down. It needs heat and yeah. Whereas Black Earth, they do take stuff like that, I think.
Yeah, it's an industrial strength composting. It needs to be like 300 degrees. It's much higher heat than like a typical backyard compost would ever do. So you would never be able to put like a bioplastic in your own backyard and expect it to break down.
Right.
An industrial composting facility, it would. I don't know the cost of creating one of those and how sustainable it would be unless they charged every, citizen a cost to utilize it. I don't know.
Well, perhaps we invite them, Black Earth, to give a presentation to us so we understand it even better and see if it is worth then approaching the town on it. Maybe it's a part of the DPW where everyone brings their compostables to the DPW to a certain section that's picked up by Black Earth. perhaps that's it.
They have like a
A
bin that could
kiosk.
keep it in, yeah.
Hmm. I mean, I don't know, but maybe it's worth investigating this more.
I don't think there's any harm
Or-
in trying.
Hmm.
Or alternatively, maybe somebody as knowledgeable as Black Earth, but maybe not Black Earth, but someone that doesn't have any skin in the game that could advise us if we wanted to go that way for the town. Just a thought. I don't know who that person might be, but
I don't know, I think certain towns actually do have compost, like curbside composting. I was listening to NPR, I can't remember. I think maybe in Boston, I think the town of Brookline might have something. We could try to find a contact there and see how they're doing it,
Okay.
if it's working.
Do you think, is this a priority really for us though? Is this just, I don't know, just,
Yeah, it might be a lot of.
I knew I
legwork.
brought it up, but I was just, I mean, I brought it up because it was submitted to us.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
you
I
know,
can, I feel like we could try, I think we're going to try to do EcoFest again this year, 2023. And so we can certainly try to have them come as a vendor. And then maybe as a committee, we can get more information from them if they, I don't know, if they show up, but yeah, maybe not putting a ton of effort into it.
Hmm.
Well, let's just put it on, I'll look into it more. I'll just get some more information and see. I'll see what the town of Brookline does. How about that?
Yeah.
Great. Are there any reports from subcommittees, liaisons that anyone wants to bring up? I didn't have any other.
I've been following the Harbor Committee. So there was a meeting on July 5th. They're trying to create a shellfish bylaw. This is going to have to go, I think, the select board will have the authority to create the regulations for aquaculture, but I believe it's going to be at special town meeting before it can actually happen. Basically, I would say the Cohasset waters. I think they've been closed until now and there's no shellfish constable. So they need to establish a shellfish constable and create a bylaw to oversee this. So I think that's sort of in the works. The other thing that just came through was a navigation bylaw they're trying to put in place. The Cohasset Harbor Committee voted to send it to the select board for inclusion in special town meeting to protect and promote public availability and use a valuable conservation and recreational resource. I think it kind of stems through the whole, I was telling Adam, I think it's part of the Scituate oyster farm. I think they're trying to kind of mitigate that happening. I'm not sure how it's going to go, but they're encouraging everybody on the Harbor Committee to encourage the select board to put it on the special town meeting and go from there. So those are the two bylaws that they're working on. That was pretty much all I got out of those meetings.
Yeah, I got a sense from that. There's a group, that are actively working against the shellfish out by Bassings.
Mhm.
A couple of months ago, I got an email that implied that they were pretty sure it wasn't going to go through,
Mhm.
but nevertheless, they were still saying if people wanted to contribute,
Yeah,
fighting it, you could. But
yeah.
yeah,
I'm not sure how things are going to go. I feel like it could be pretty contentious between the two towns. And selfishly, we have a boat and I like to go to the Spit with my family, but I don't really know how things are going to play out.
yeah. Weren't they talking about Bassings, kind of out beyond Bassings a little bit?
Yeah, I think it would make it so that people can't use that area for recreation anymore. I think it would just be for aquaculture. Like what you said.
That would just be the section on the opposite side of the jetty, is that right?
I think so, yeah.
Bassing's probably just,
But I think we still couldn't use the Spit area either. I think,
yeah, oh,
I'm
wow.
not sure exactly where it would look like, but I think it would affect recreation in there.
I heard a rumor that the Whitehead resident there was gonna
Yeah,
get attorneys involved to
I heard, well, I think there are.
resources.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think they're trying. I feel
Yeah,
like,
like the yacht club, I think also because they use that area with, you know, the sailing, the kids. Yeah,
it'll be interesting how it all plays out.
yeah,
It'll
yeah.
be contentious for sure. I think
Mm.
there's a lawsuit, I think also, so,
Mm.
yeah. I'll keep you guys posted if I hear anything else coming.
Right.
I can speak about the Community Preservation Committee. We're going to be meeting next week, and we are right now taking proposals for anyone that's looking for funding in the community for any of their projects. And then those, once they're voted and reviewed, then we'll bring them to the town meeting for a vote on them. But usually we start accepting at least 10. And Russ makes the first judgment, and then they're presented to us, and we decide on whether they're of value. So I'll let you know what we review.
Mm. Have you received any applications yet?
Not that I've been alerted of. They usually go through Russ first.
I see, yeah. Okay, so I can easily report on the Elm Street Working Group. I reached out to Tim Davis yesterday for an update, and he said, no news, no news. They haven't met and no news to report. Meanwhile, there's a lot of work going on down at
There's a lot of construction going
Harbor.
on.
Yeah.
I know, so,
I would like that project to be done. I mean, like the
Yeah.
whole Elm Street area and then all the way down to the harbor, well, it's difficult to drive on first.
Yeah.
yeah, and I keep wondering what's gonna bubble up with that whole idea about that little park. And that's sort of a triangular island park,
Oh, yeah.
and whether or not that's going to get moved or not, and when that's going to become more of a topic for public discussion.
About 2 years ago, there was a plan for that to be moved and to
Mhm.
become, I guess, for the condos to absorb it a bit more.
Mhm.
That it was an easier traffic area.
Mhm.
I don't know what has happened since then.
Right, yeah, that was a proposal, and then Ralph, what's his name?
Dormitzer?
Thank you.
Mhm.
He pushed back with opposed to that. And there was a little bit of back and forth. And I've been sort of following it because it's sort of interesting, both sides of it are rather interesting, but I don't think anything has moved forward one way or the other,
Hmm.
as far as I know.
Okay.
It would be great to have that all finished, the whole harbor, so that we have an attractive harbor to return to, like an area to peruse and walk around.
Yeah,
Mhm.
true.
I can report for Master Plan Implementation Committee. We did meet in August. However, all we really did in the meeting was just reestablish who the committee was and who is now going to be running the committee since Katie Dugan stepped down. So Cassie Rosano, who was the she was not the co-chair, but she was like the second chair. She is now the chair. So that's kind of all I have to report from there. But I do expect we'll be meeting regularly now starting in September this month and going forward.
Where did Katie Dugan go? Was she anything else? Did she say?
No, she basically said that she, in a very polite manner, that she was done. And that she felt that she could no longer make progress with the town. So she was stepping down.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was in April. And then we didn't meet until August.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can talk about the field study. I don't know. I just kind of reviewed it just because I wanted to have it fresh in my mind for this meeting. Did anyone follow the field study results that came out back in June? The town hired, I don't remember the name of the company, like Avitest, some consulting firm to do a full assessment about the field spaces and potential options, given that just seems like there's a lot of need and not enough field space for a lot of different groups of athletes. So just to kind of summarize, they came up with 3 options for potential expansion for the town. I think there was like 8 or 9 options, but they kind of whittled it down to 3 that would actually be workable. Number 1 would be Deer Hill, where like the softball field is now, like that back area between Deer Hill and Osgood. And they're proposing to add synthetic turf and lighting, add configuration of the fields for lacrosse and field hockey. And the total cost for that would be 3 to 3.5 million. The second one is at Milliken Field, where the soccer fields are now. They would, in the tennis courts, they would renovate the tennis courts. They would add a pickleball court, 8 courts of pickleball, add synthetic turf and lighting. And that would be 9 to 10 million. And the third option would be, and I don't know if we have to, I think some of these could do 2 of them or 3 of them. I'm not sure what the town's going to decide on, or maybe none, I don't know. The Freedom and Chase fields over where the kids play baseball. There'd be a third Little League field, in addition to lighting. And the cost of that would be 2.7 to 3.1 million.
The one off of North Main Street,
Mhm.
what do they call it? The
Freedom and Chase fields.
Hmm.
Right across from Wheelwright.
We should probably write some summary of what we recommend, Ed, don't you think?
I do. I don't know.
Since
It
it's
does, it's recreation. Yeah, I was hoping John would be here so we could kind of find out if this is from June, so I'm not sure if anything's happened since then. This is just the consultant speaking, so I don't know if RAC has talked about it or where they're at.
Is the idea that all 3 of these projects would
don't
need to happen because it seems like it's very sports specific,
Yeah.
right? It's like,
Right.
Sports would benefit from certain fields for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, right. So do you have to do the whole package?
I don't know.
Also, like the synthetic turf component of that, like how critical is that? Because isn't it terrible for the environment?
When my son plays Galway, when I go up to the field there, the little plastic balls, and then you can see it's everywhere. And then
Yeah.
by the drains, all like the fake grass is like by the drains. There's got to be so much going into the waterways, and what's all
Yeah.
that plastic doing.
Right.
I think from an environmental standpoint, I can't think it's good. I don't know if there's any studies out there or anyone's even looked at it.
I'm just
Yeah, I would just,
opposed to that, those synthetic.
Mhm.
My son's coming home now with those little
Yes.
black dots. Is that
Yes,
what
they're
that
in my
is?
bed the other night. I'm like, oh my God, what is
ugh,
Jeez.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yes, that would be terrible for the
Yeah.
environment.
But then I think they increase the usage of the field so much because, if it's raining, there's no mud. If it's
mm,
dry, it doesn't need as much irrigation. I think there's environmental
Right, less
benefits.
repairs to it.
So I don't know.
I do agree with the tennis courts. The tennis courts have been an issue for myself for a long time.
Yeah.
I think they're in terrible shape. And I did notice recently that the town had made marks on the tennis courts for pickleball.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So they have some some of that, but I know a lot of towns are really investing in tennis courts and pickleball, and
Mhm.
I think we should do that too. I've also heard from the high school tennis team that they are embarrassed to bring other towns to Cohasset to play against them because of the condition
I get
of our
it.
courts.
Yeah, they're like in disrepair.
Hmm. And so I'm in support of that, but I suppose you're right. The lights, and there's probably a big light issue here as
Mhm.
well.
Well,
And
there's battles over that too, I think. I feel like that's gonna be a whole abutters
right.
conversation and
I mean, I don't know. Oh, we're already having enough difficulty with the town hall. Yeah, it's still not built. So I don't know if we can support 9 to 10 million.
right? If you
Um,
add this all up, it's like, it's almost $20 million,
mhm.
assuming the high end of things, which I think it always is the way it goes. So
But I do think that we should write some kind of rebuttal or a
okay.
statement of our positioning on this.
Yeah.
Um,
Can I ask, where are the fields that have the artificial turf? Which fields are those?
The only one I'm aware of in town is the Cohasset Sports Complex. It's up at the top of the hill where the dump used
Oh,
to be up
okay.
there.
mhm.
Mhm.
I don't think
That's
it's owned by the
private.
town. Yeah, I think it's private. I
Okay, okay.
think all the
Now, I
towns.
never go up there, so I wasn't, because I don't recall seeing it.
Would you don't ever go up there.
That used to be the dub.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, I would second about the tennis courts. I played there last week and everybody that I was playing with were like mortified. They said, I can't believe that,
Yeah.
Cohasset hosts, tennis matches for the high school, etc. And also the pickleball is so extraordinarily popular now.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Why
Yeah.
don't I email John? I mean, I feel like John would be probably the best contact for us to know at least where this is just a proposal. I have no idea if anything's been done since June. This was released. I can see if John has any information about, because I think rec would be the primary group to decide if this went before the town, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
And what I would what I'm observing at places I go, etc., is that tennis courts are often empty, and the pickleball courts that are right next door to it are booming.
Yes.
For high school sports, you need to keep some tennis courts, but when they redo that, they might, instead of, I think there's maybe 5 courts up there now.
Oh, there's 7
There are 7.
or 6 or 7. It is.
Oh, 6 or
I
7.
think the
Okay.
proposal was 4 tennis courts and 8 pickleball courts.
Oh, wow.
That was what,
Wow.
yeah, but I don't know, again, I don't know if the town's gonna go with
Sure.
that, come up with
And
their
the
own.
pickleball courts are smaller than a tennis court, so you can squeeze more in.
Mhm.
I was recently at the Situate High School, and I was blown away by the quality of their sports complex. I was amazed by the track, the football field. There must have been at least 3 or 4 fields to play on. It was
Wow.
amazing. It was,
Wow.
and we just don't have anything to compete with that.
Mm.
They are a much larger town.
Mm.
It was so high quality.
No, I agree. It's like orders of magnitude better. In Duxbury too, I went down there for my kids' lacrosse this summer, much nicer facilities.
Mhm. Right, and I was just over at Hingham High recently, and another a larger town. I have to keep reminding myself these are much larger towns with a lot more of a financial base to them.
Mhm.
But they do keep up on their properties. They do have much more to offer.
I see the town investing a lot more in, residential development. I don't see much other development being focused on, and I feel like as the population grows, it's going to become more problematic.
Mhm.
There's the schools and the fields and the open spaces.
Right. I'm still not convinced about Sawyer Street, but I understand that had something to do with the condos that were in 3A.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, something to do with what?
Um, I can't remember the name of the condominiums on 3A, but
Oh,
part
oh,
of
okay.
the
Avalon.
It was the
Avalon.
arrangement that the town had made with them.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Avalon. Yeah.
Avalon, right? I just feel like the Sawyer Street sidewalks kind of go to nowhere. I mean, they go to I think it's Wampatuck on the opposite side. It is, but you have
Mhm.
to cross 3A, which is
Whitney Woods.
oh, Whitney Woods. Thank
Yeah.
you. Right.
Yeah, you have to, but you have to cross 3A. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So should for the field study, should we all just individually look at that and then
I can send it around and sure, take a look at it. I can reach out to John to see if there's anything new, because this is, I think that was from June, so that there may be some traction that's been made since then.
and perhaps we should each write something and then we can combine it all together and then send it on to the
Select board? I
Select
don't
board?
know. Yeah, I'm not sure who would,
Mhm.
I can ask them. I can ask the select board. I can ask Jean if
Okay.
that's where it would go. Sure.
Is there anything else that anyone wanted to discuss?
I can comment on our new member that we're waiting to join us. So I had reached out to the town hall and didn't hear back. And then I reached out again. And then finally today I spoke with Tracy because my friend Alix, you know, I had told her a couple of weeks ago that we had a meeting scheduled for tonight, and I was assuming she would be joining us. And then she said, but she still hadn't heard anything back from the town, and she'd filled out all the forms and all of that. So bottom line, as of today, Tracy said there is some confusion about how many people are supposed to be on our committee. Said in their data, I've got just some notes here. It's one place has us as having 6 members, and if that's the case, we have plenty of members. And then one place, I think it's the website maybe, has us having 9 members, in which case we're short members.
That's, I thought it was 9.
Yeah, she had some recollection about Peter and maybe changing the charter and having a difficulty having enough people for a quorum. So, and Chris Senior was out and Lisa and town clerk is new. So she asked if we could just, you know, forbear with her for just a couple more days and she'll get to the bottom of it. But she thinks that's why perhaps the select board hasn't moved forward with processing Alix White's, you know, application to be a member of our committee.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually found a potential new member as well. Adam and I have said
Oh,
we might be willing to join, but if we can't have any more members, I guess that's a new point.
yeah, yeah. So she should be getting back to me within a day or two. And as soon as I hear from her, I'll send around an email.
Right now we have 7 members. Is that correct?
So, you know, I was going to ask you as well. So are John and Chris McIntyre and John McCone, are they full members of the committee, opposed to liaisons from another committee?
They're
Yes.
liaisons, right?
Yeah, they're
Right.
liaisons.
But I think, doesn't that require them to still participate?
I think that's somewhat maybe of the issue, because, for example, she asked me with Alix, would she be a citizen at large? And I said, yes, I assume so. I assume that is what we are, correct? We're citizens at large as members of the board, but then we have decided if we want to, as a board or as a committee member, if we want to liaison with a particular other group, So
And there's a charter, like, we have a charter that's probably on the website isn't that the most official document that we have?
that's what she wanted to check. That's what she needed to go a step up to find out the answer as to whether or not we have a space even for Alix White to be a member of the committee. But
Gosh, I think it's so great that if people want to join our committee, I welcome them. I think the more bodies, the better.
I agree.
More voices and
Spaces, yeah.
energy is fantastic.
right.
So,
And
I
again,
don't want
she's
to
got
anyone.
right. And again, she's got some memory there where Peter was saying that sometimes it was difficult to get a quorum. So he might have advocated for a larger committee, but then again, that can be self-defeating, right? Because it's a percentage of your total. So, but I'm pretty sure I'll be able to have an answer for you within a couple of days.
Okay.
And yep.
Well, that's great. Should we meet again in a month?
Pardon me?
Yeah.
I'll meet again in a month.
Oh, yeah.
Then?
Yeah, just third Tuesday, does that work for everyone? Third Tuesday, 6:30 to 8 PM, generally
Yeah,
speaking?
yeah. That's great.
And Connie, we mentioned, I think, just before you joined, that it might be nice to meet in person if possible. Maybe we could explore getting a space at Wilcott. I think that's where the committee met.
Yeah, that should make it good.
Yes. Oh, when I was over at the town hall today getting sworn in, the town clerk gave me a document from the library. I guess there's 4 meeting rooms there that they want us to be aware of if we want
Okay.
to. So I don't have it in front of me, but there's a phone number that you can do the book if you want.
Okay,
Yeah,
that works too.
yeah, those are really nice meeting rooms as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen them, so I'll scan that document and send it.
And if there's anything, if anybody feels too overwhelmed with calls, whatever, to make this month, I don't have anything on my agenda to follow up with. So if you'd like me to follow up with something, please let me know. Other than the amount of members of the committee.
I think that's an important one.
Yeah,
actually.
Okay.
Find out like how many do you have or not.
Right. Okay.
All right, shall we adjourn?
I make a
Actually-
motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All right, have a great night, everyone.
Hey, everyone.
Great
Thank
night.
you. Good seeing everybody.
Bye.
Bye.